As Chelsea mentioned at the other show at Forest, the government of Canada is actively working to not allow other governments in the world to implement a financial transaction tax, otherwise known as the Robin Hood tax. So we need to let them know by doing things like this, and also letting them know by phoning them, writing to them, and whatever way you can get into their office and let them know, because most of the people around here are conservatives. Get into their offices and let them know that you would like to see this implemented. Not that they'll listen to you, but it's our democratic right, and I think that's important to us to exercise that.
Amen.
Yeah. Why should we have an FTT or Robin Hood tax? The market has become much more speculative in nature. 30 years ago, 5% of the investment in the market was speculative, and now it's about 90%. The money just gets churned around in this thing that doesn't actually produce anything except more money and more possible, downturns in the economy, and money for the rich so they can get richer. Yeah, thank you.
Shame.
Double shame. This speculative nature makes the market much more imbalanced and subject to fluctuation, as we have seen in 2008 and will likely see shortly. The FTT will reduce some of the speculation, thus bringing more stability in the world. As you heard that pantomime, if we put that 0.5% of tax on them, they might speculate less. That's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Not a bad thing, it's a good thing. How much is the Robin Hood tax movement asking for? The original movement was asking for 1/20th. I want you to understand that 1/20th of 1%. And others are now asking for 1%. Hey, I don't mind asking for 1%.
Amen.
How much is 1/20th of 1%? Well, when I was at the store today, I decided to figure that out. So what I did was I took a $5. This is not a 20, it's a 5. That's the first trick. When you're in business, you get to do those kinds of tricks. Give me a 20, I'll give you a 5. So right below it says Canada. Well, what do you think 1/20th of 1% is represented on this surface area of this $5 bill? The Queen isn't on the money anymore. You royalist, you. No, you see the word Canada up there, and you see 5 and 5. The little dot in between represents 1/20th of 1%. That's actually a little bit smaller than that, but just to give you an idea. So they get all of this area, and we would get the Robin Hood tax with get that little dot. I don't think we're asking for too much.
No.
Are we?
No.
We're not asking for us. We're asking it for everybody out there.
Yeah.
To make the world a better place.
Amen.
Sure.
No, I don't think so, Robin Hood. You guys say no, what? It's the boogeyman.
Can I talk with you afterwards? Can I talk with you after, please?
This is my house. This is my native country.
Thank you. Yes, I realize that. I'm sometimes told that I'm naive. I thought that all taxes were Robin Hood taxes. That the government collects taxes and they do some good with it. That they spend it on things like infrastructure and healthcare, and unfortunately they spend it on military as well. But things that I as an individual can't make too much of a difference in the world. But collectively we can. We're doing something collectively here, but we contribute taxes to the government, and they're supposed to do something good with it. And what we're doing is that we're saying you need to start doing these kinds of things in the world. Has anybody heard about the trickle-down effect? I know somebody mentioned in the other space earlier. Crumbs. Yeah. Or trickle down. I feel wet. So if the corporations do well in the world, the idea is that they will share their good fortune with everybody else around them. They'll give more money to their employees. spend money in the local economy and things like that. But what do we find now? They're putting their corporations offshore. They're actually giving more money at the top end and less money at the bottom end. And I think they need a little bit of help to release some of that money, to change the tax laws that favor the rich and don't do very good for the rest of us.
Stop taxing pensioners.
Amen.
Yes. I'm somewhat pleased by the initiative of the Robin Hood tax. This is, as far as I know it, the first time that there is a national call to initiate a tax from the people.
Yeah.
Taxes start from the top down by government flags, corporations that said we need to change tax laws and everything like this. This is the first time that it's a public, a citizen-based call for a tax. Tax increases are usually because governments can't control their spending or are not paying enough to taxing enough to pool enough money, but usually both. This produces a shortfall and makes governments hungry for support and finances, and they usually go to somewhere else for their support and their finances. They go to support for their cronies in corporations, and it makes them vulnerable for manipulation. So I suggest let's do a little bit of our own manipulation. I think it is a Robin Hood tax time. What time is it?
Robin Hood tax.
I think so. So be part of the merry people. Be a Robin Hood tax advocate. Thank you.